So we've talked about Superman. Now we're going to talk a little bit about Fantastic Four, which still has 2 weeks until it gets its feet put to the fire. But I can tell you, Pedro Pascal is not helping things. But he's allowed to say and do whatever he wants. He's almost like a combination of Rachel Zegler and Brie Larson when she was at her worst. She's actually much better now, but he's kind of like a fusion of those two. And you say, well, they're women. So is he. At least emotionally. I don't know what's up with him. I'm waiting for him to just come out of the closet. It's 2025, dude. Nobody will care. You should just come out. They're trying to push this guy, though, as like the greatest person in Hollywood. And it's almost like he's untouchable. He is worse. Well, I don't know. In the comments, do you think he's worse than Rachel Zegler? Or is she worse than him? Who do you think is worse? Now, unlike her, he actually has had success. She has had almost no success. He's at least had some. So I'll give him that over her, but whether or not he's box office poison, that will remain to be seen. We don't have a lot of numbers for this movie yet. We don't even have any real thoughts. We're not going to get any kind of idea what anybody thinks about this until July 22nd. Social media embargo lifts 7/21. The review embargo lifts 7/22. So, got to wait almost till the movie comes out to get any kind of idea about what people think of it. But they're making changes in the comics, apparently. Now, I don't read modern Fantastic Four. Like most Marvel comics, they're shit. So I've stayed away from them. Well, Marvel has a couple good comics. A lot of it still sucks. I think DC stuff is actually a little bit better, especially with those little compact books they're doing. They're real cheap, and they're putting like best stuff in there. I think DC is actually doing a little bit of a better job. They have bad books too, but they have a couple more books that I prefer reading over Marvel. Apparently, in the new Fantastic Four #1, I guess they've rebooted it again. Why don't you just use the legacy numbers? I hate rebooting into #1s. If you're going to just make all of these arcs, why don't you just call it something other than Fantastic Four? Fantastic Four in whatever they're doing #1. And then end it. Now, what really happens is they end the series because of sales. The sales go to shit. They do #1, and then they get good, and then by the end, they're shit because everyone jumps off. But if you do a #1, people come back. It always works, and I'll never understand it. In Fantastic Four #1, Sue Storm suddenly calls herself the leader. Not because it fits the story, not because the movies, but because the movie's coming. Reed got demoted off panel, and the plot got boxed in by force field along with logic and canon. And she says it right here in this. And that's me, Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman. I bend light and energy, and I make force fields with my mind. I lead the team. We're the Fantastic Four. I brought us here because Dr. Doom has taken over the planet, and today we're going to stop him. Today we're going to save the world. But it's right there. I lead the team. I brought us here. Now, the team is always, unless I'm not remembering things correctly, has always been the leader of the Fantastic Four. But in the movie, they changed it. She's the leader now. I also hear at the end that, I don't know if this is true or not, so take this with a grain of salt. But apparently, Sue and Lady Surfer have to get stuck somewhere and spend time together, and the ending of the movie is Baby Franklin being guided by Sue with Silver Surfer defeating Galactus. It's the two women and the men are just there. They're just kind of there. Pedro's there. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard it from pretty good sources. Whether or not that ends up happening, I don't know, but I can tell you this. A lot of men turned down that Fantastic Four Reed Richards part because apparently they didn't like what Reed was in the script or whatever. He's just kind of lackluster. Perfect role for Pedro Pascal. He loves that shit. But yeah, now in the comics. See, it's crazy. The movies changed the comics. So now Sue Storm is the leader of the Fantastic Four in the books. Fantastic. Truly fantastic. I'm sure it'll really drive up those sales. At the premiere for the movie, Pedro Pascal, of course, decided that he was going to go ahead and give his thoughts on the trans community. Amazing. I'm here for it, personally. I think it's great. Doing his best Rachel Zegler impression here, attaching things to a movie premiere. I really don't think movie premieres and stuff to promote something that you're trying to sell like that is really the best time and place to give your views on, let's face it, controversial subjects. But hey, you know, he's being an ally. It's okay. It's okay if he does it. No other people are allowed to give their thoughts. I guarantee you they didn't have anybody even talk to him about anything like they did with Rachel Zegler, who they did try to silence towards the end. Just fine. The problem is I don't think anything he says will really affect this movie. That's kind of the real thing. I don't think anything will affect it. But here's what he said. I got this from My Nerdy Home. By the way, here is this cringe thing. I don't know if you saw this. Like, this was on, I think, Entertainment Weekly. My God, man. But here's what he said.
It's important to, protect people and human beings, especially those that are simply asking for the right to exist in the bodies that belong to them and in the world that they never asked to be brought into. And it's a very, very small, vulnerable, inspiring, courageous, and brave community that fills me with a lot of inspiration. And so therefore I think that, it's very important to protect that in humanity. They would do that for us.
Can you just tell me about Reed Richards and shit? Does he do any cool things with his powers? No. Here's what I'm going to tell you about, really. By the way, his sister wants to play Jean Grey. Fantastic. I hope it happens. Let's do it. Let's get Pedro Pascal's trans sister to play Jean Grey. I'm here for it. There you go. The new face of Jean Grey. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm kidding. This person has not been cast in the part. But everybody goes out of their way to kiss Pedro Pascal's ass. I really wouldn't be that shocked if it happened. No clue what this box office is gonna end up doing, by the way. They have not given us any updates since June. But the numbers that they were giving Superman at this time, June 13th, kind of line up with what we got, or at least what they're predicting now with that movie, here. They were saying 125 to 155 million for Fantastic Four at this time. And with Superman, they said 140 to 185 million range. And then with international, I believe they're saying about 100 million. We'll see. They got Fantastic Four debuting less than that domestically. 125 to 155 million. Now, with 100 million internationally, on the low end, you're looking at 225 million. And I think that's what it'll do its opening weekend. Where it goes from there, I don't know. Really, now it's all about the second weekend. Because opening weekend, it is what it is, but legs and word of mouth are the biggest driving force of movies now. So we'll see. Like I said a while ago, Superman and Fantastic Four are going to tell us exactly where we are with superhero movies. Because unlike a lot of the past stuff from Marvel over the past couple of years, DC really hasn't done anything but Penguin and Joker. But, because, I mean, when was the last? Was Black Adam, right? Was kind of like the last. Oh, no, Aquaman. Aquaman was the last one. The second one. Right? I believe Aquaman was the second. They killed that movie by announcing that they were killing that universe. Anyway, you've got two big properties now this time. Superman is a pretty big, well-known property. Fantastic Four, big enough. People know who they are, right? So I really think that if both of these movies bomb, that's the end of the superhero game. It'll just confirm that what we've already known, Cape shit is dead, at least for a while. It's kind of looking like that's going to be the case. I think they're both going to bomb. Superman, though, I give a higher chance of doing well because of the fact that I think it's very much a kid's movie. And if kids end up wanting to go and see this more and more, like they want to do repeat viewings, I think you're going to see the merchandise sell. Marvel's merchandise is nothing but shitty figures of characters like that. Remember Eternals? There was the fat one. The fat one. Like, all the figures are ugly. Nobody wants to play with these. The only people that are buying the Marvel toys are collectors that are old. You need kids to buy the shit. Because they buy all kinds of shit to play with. And I could see crypto selling. I could see that being like pretty Baby Yoda levels of success. We'll see. That could help Superman. But what does the Fantastic Four have that's going to do that? A Franklin Richards baby? Maybe the robot? I don't know. We'll have to see. But I have low expectations for Fantastic Four. Because it just looks like more MCU slop shit. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. Also, if you would, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, throw a like up, share the video. Also, check out my comic book, link in the description. We are almost to 4,000 books sold, which is pretty damn cool. If you would share the campaign and check it out, I would appreciate that. We got 4 beautiful covers to check out, as well as cover D, which is also an amazing cover, and this one's only $17, so worth checking out. I think you're going to love it. It's a fun, action-packed comic book. All we're trying to do is entertain you. And with that, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
The year is 1945. World War II rages from the halls of Buckingham Palace to the shores of the Nile River. Even now, the clash between freedom and tyranny is about to boil over. Somewhere in North Africa, 2 American flyboys are soaring high on a reconnaissance mission, searching for clues to a peculiar new obsession with the occult gripping the Nazi high command.